What's up, guys? Ownedbytamater here. Welcome back to my Monday user suggested topic where you guys tell me what to talk about in the next week's episode in the comment section below. Really anything, everything, whatever you want to hear me talk about. And this week I got the suggestion that I talk about my high school experiences, how I felt when I was going, how I felt leaving, etc., etc. And to start that story off, I really have to explain to you guys my middle school. The middle school I went to was so small. The entire class that I graduated with was about 30 people, and I think that's rounding it up. I think the exact number was 27. And that was the biggest class in the school. So you can kind of get a feel for how small that school was. Everybody knew everybody. You'd go in. Everybody was friends, for the most part. Everybody got along pretty well with everybody else. I mean, there was a couple people that didn't play basketball that really didn't get along as well with the rest of the basketball team. Basketball in this middle school was the only sport that we had besides track. And so if you played basketball, you got, you had a lot more exposure to the rest of the guys in your class, so you learn to get along, and you got to know each other, got to know their personalities, and so it was you played basketball, you knew everybody, everyone got you got along with pretty much the entire team, and you were close and had all these jokes. But if you didn't, it was a little bit harder to kind of get to know everybody because you weren't exposed to everybody as much as you would have been. And so everyone pretty much got along, and I went from being incredibly popular, being friends with everybody. I was voted the homecoming king, I think it is. It's not that hard amongst 30 people, but it was, I was popular amongst everybody. I was really social. I was always joking, having a good time. I loved going to school. I knew that I'd wake up and go, and it'd be fun because I'd have all these fun jokes and moments and just have a blast, honestly. And then I went to high school, and after middle school for this area, it splits into two main high schools that you can go into. One that is just a little bit bigger than the middle school, but it doesn't have very much class variety or class selection. You couldn't pick AP classes, for instance. Or one that was a little bit closer to me, which was quite a bit bigger, but gave you a lot of selection for your classes. And I wanted to take AP classes in high school to, have a chance of getting scholarships and, whatnot. Well, I was not ready for the size change. This high school was about 200 people per class. And that might not sound like a whole lot, but to me it was like a huge wake-up call. I wasn't ready in the least for I had never been exposed to having to meet all these new people and know how to kind of commingle with people you didn't know. I mean, my classes, I'd go in and everyone would know everybody, so if someone didn't get something, everyone, or you could just be like, oh, this is how you do it, and kind of know that, it's not going to be weird that you're trying to help someone out that you don't know. And then you go to high school, and there's no possible way I could know everybody. I probably knew about 20 people in the entire school when I went, out of like 800. And so I was not ready for the fact that I didn't know anybody. And I went from being really social and really talkative and energetic to going to school and just not wanting to talk at all. I was honestly afraid that I'd go in there and I'd say something strange, and they'd be like, "Whoa, you're a weirdo, buddy. You're gonna be an outcast." And I was deathly afraid of that, and I kind of hurt myself by not speaking. I don't know. I think people probably thought I was more weird because I never really said anything. Other than, if they had got to know me and if I had actually talked, they'd be like, "Oh, you're pretty cool. You're pretty chill." but by not talking and not having hardly anything to say, they're like, "That's a little strange. You're weird, buddy." And I wanted to talk, I just could never find the words to say or to express myself or whatever, because I didn't know the inside jokes, and I didn't know, what was funny to each individual person. I couldn't, mold my personality to what the people liked. And so I was in a weird position. I wasn't an outcast, but I wasn't, I didn't really fit into any really specific, clique or area. I was just kind of there, hanging out. And that's when, I really started putting in some game time for video games. Obviously, I'd go home, I didn't, have a whole lot to do because I didn't have a whole lot of friends. I mean, if you're wanting me to be honest. I went home and, I'd be like, okay, time to play some RuneScape, time to play some Call of Duty, do whatever I really wanted to do. And, at first that's cool and fun playing all these games, but after a while it got depressing that, I'd go to school and nobody would know me. I mean, nobody at all knew me. And I'd go to class and they could care less if I was there or not. And it was really, really hard because, just making the adjustment from being really popular to being just a person in class. And it was hard to teach myself to kind of open up a little bit. And I'm still not, hugely social where I'm just going to run out and be like, "Hello, my name is Justin. We're going to be good friends." No, I still can't do anything of the sort. I'm still really shy, but I can kind of open up a little bit better whenever someone new is like, "Sup?" I'm like, "Sup?" And that's our entire conversation. Before I'd nod my head and run away. Be like, "Hey, you're talking to me, I don't know what to say." And honestly, guys, it was hard. And this is just the first half of my high school career. It was hard adjusting and getting used to something that was so new and just so much different than everything else I had ever experienced. After 2 years at my high school, I was kind of opening up, and some of these people from my classes that I had, on a regular basis, kind of got to know me, and they worked to kind of break me out of my shell. I'm not really sure why. They'd be like, "Hey, you're a quiet dude. You probably got an inside that's kind of funny." And I don't know exactly why they worked so hard to kind of break me out of my shell, but they did, and I got some friends, and I was starting to loosen up and have fun, in my classes again. And then my dad gets a job in Texas, and we moved from Oklahoma to Texas, and in Texas we moved to a town about 20 minutes from Houston. So it's a pretty big town. It's there's stuff everywhere, shops everywhere. I wasn't used to having like a Best Buy, a GameStop, and all this stuff around. In my town we had like a Walmart, a movie gallery to rent movies and games, and some local, grocery stores and some restaurants. And other than that, we didn't have a whole lot, shopping-wise. But moving to this other town where there's everything. Anything you could think of is probably within 30-minute drive. And that summer, we moved at the first summer, and I didn't really, I didn't know anybody, so I didn't have anything to do, because I'm not one to go out and do something by myself. I wasn't going to go to a movie and be like, "I'm here for one ticket by myself because I just want to see this movie." I've never really been that outgoing. I don't think I'd enjoy myself going by myself. I'd rather stay home and just relax and do whatever. And so that's when me and Ronnie kind of started hitting Call of Duty really hard, because I went out and I bought my own PlayStation so me and Ronnie could stay in touch. And we really progressed that summer. After the summer, I went to this new high school that was just ginormous. It was like a freaking college. It was so intimidating. And in this high school, there was 700 people in my class. I want to say 700 to 800 people in my class. And oh my god, if I thought I had learned how to kind of relax around new people in my 200 class size high school, I was so wrong. I went to this new class and I was like, God, because it's 2 stories, and from wall to wall in between classes, there's shoulder to shoulder, both floors, just kind of people moving by, and it was ridiculous. I'm running out of time. I'm kind of going over, but to kind of close it off, my experience there it was really hard, and especially not having a lot of friends to kind of lean on and rely on. It was really hard and really frustrating, really stressful. But the way I got through it was finding something that I really, really, really enjoyed that could kind of take my mind off of everything else. For you, it might be these video games. It might be some kind of sports. It might be scrapbooking, writing, doing poems. Well, I mean, whatever works, really. Anything to take your mind off it and just let you go into a place of, relaxation for a little while. And so I'd come home after being all stressed, and I'd go turn on my PlayStation, and it was just, I didn't have to worry. I'm not cool, because I turned it on, and it didn't matter if I was cool or not. It just mattered that I was pwned in your face with my MP5 from across the map. That's, all that mattered now. And that's honestly how I got through it. But as hard as it was, I'm really glad that I had to be exposed to that situation, because now I feel like I could go to, any place where I have to meet new people. Even doing this, talking over the computer, I would have been afraid that someone I knew would see it and be like, oh, so he's not how... Like, I used to mold my personality to, kind of what the other person thought was funny. And with the high school so big, I couldn't, there's no way I could mold it so that everyone thought I was cool and funny. So I had to learn how to accept who I was and learn how to be me for once, instead of learning how to be somebody else. And just that experience alone was well worth, all the struggles and pain that I went through high school. And so, to close it off, it was hard, but it was a growing learning experience that I'm really glad I got exposed to. And that's where I'm going to close it. I'm a couple minutes over. So remember to comment, rate, and subscribe. Leave a comment in the comment section below for next week's topic. I hope you enjoyed this commentary. This has been Owned by Tomater. Later.